It was one of those blistering southern afternoons where even the clouds seemed to avoid the sun. The air was thick, hot, and still. Claire Donnelly, CEO of Donnelly Dynamics, tapped her manicured nails against the steering wheel of her luxury SUV, the digital clock flashing 2:47 p.m. She was exactly halfway between Atlanta and nowhere. Asterisk, her GPS had gone silent 20 minutes ago, and the last road sign she passed just read Hickory Bend Pop 802. Her team had begged her not to drive herself to the investor retreat. But Claire hated chauffeurs. She preferred control. That day, however, control slipped right through her fingers when the engine sputtered twice, then let out a metallic groan and died. Asterisk, she pulled over to the side of the road, annoyed more at the inconvenience than the actual danger. She wasn't the type to panic. After all, she'd built a billion-dollar empire by staying calm under pressure. But as she stepped out in her Louboutins onto the sun-baked clay shoulder, steam billowing from the hood, she realized just how far she was from her world. Asterisk, no cell service. No shade, just rows of peach trees and a humming heat that pressed against her skin like an unwelcome hand. Asterisk, she opened the hood, pretending to inspect it. The engine looked like a complicated metal jungle, completely foreign, impossibly dense. Claire wasn't the kind of woman who fixed things with her hands. She negotiated, she strategized. She didn't tinker. Asterisk, for 2 long hours no one passed. She sat on the edge of the SUV, the back of her blouse damp with sweat, muttering frustrated monologues to herself. She was beginning to seriously contemplate walking when, finally, a low rumble broke the silence. Asterisk, a faded blue pickup truck with mismatched doors pulled up behind her. It looked older than some of her board members. The engine coughed as it shut off. The driver stepped out tall, broad-shouldered, mid-40s maybe, with hands blackened from years of labor and a face carved by sun and time. He wore a torn Braves cap and work boots thick with dust, and from the passenger side hopped out a little girl, curly-haired, smiling, in overalls with grease marks on her cheeks. Asterisk, the man tipped his cap. Looks like trouble found you, ma'am. Asterisk, Claire glanced at the girl, then back at the man. My SUV just quit, no reception. And I've got a meeting in, she checked her Rolex. Well, probably not anymore. Asterisk, he leaned under the hood without asking. His hands moved with familiarity, like someone who didn't guess someone who knew. Asterisk, your belt's cooked, he muttered. Coolant reservoir's bone dry. Could have overheated and fried your block if you'd kept going. Asterisk, Claire blinked. Can you fix it? Asterisk, I can tow it to my shop. About 2 miles back that way. Name's Caleb, by the way. This here's my daughter, Rosie. Asterisk, Rosie waved cheerfully. We got cold root beer at the shop. Asterisk, Claire hesitated. She wasn't the type to climb into strangers' trucks. But the sun was relentless, and so was her pride. Asterisk, Caleb handed her a water bottle. I promise we're a lot less scary than your GPS thinks we are. Asterisk, she nodded slowly, then climbed into the passenger side. The seat was warm, cracked leather. The cab smelled like sawdust and gasoline and old lunch bags. Rosie offered her a piece of gum from a squished pack. Claire declined, politely. Asterisk, the shop looked like something out of a forgotten postcard weathered sign. A row of retired tires, a lazy dog sprawled by the entrance, and 2 open garage bays humming with life. Asterisk, as Caleb backed the SUV into one of the bays, Claire looked around. No computer screens. No service desk. Just tools, elbow grease, and muscle memory. Asterisk, you're not from around here, he said as he popped the hood again. Asterisk, I'm guessing that's obvious. Asterisk, little bit, he smiled. But Rosie thought you looked like someone who might be real under all that polish. Asterisk, Claire raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? Asterisk, Rosie giggled. Daddy says engines are like people. You push 'em too hard too long, they break. But if you listen close, they'll tell you exactly what's wrong. Asterisk, Claire tilted her head. Wise words for a 10-year-old. Asterisk, she's 10 going on 40, Caleb said. Been hanging around this shop since she could crawl. Asterisk, the hours slipped by. Caleb worked without rushing, his hands precise and patient. Claire sat on a plastic chair drinking root beer from a glass bottle, feeling oddly relaxed. She hadn't sat still like this in years. No ringing phone, no texts, no assistants whispering updates. Asterisk at one point, as Caleb wiped sweat from his brow, Claire half joked, "If you manage to fix this engine today, I might just have to marry you." Asterisk Caleb chuckled, not looking up. "Careful now, ma'am. That kind of offer carries weight round here." Asterisk Rosie lit up. "You'd like him. He makes waffles shaped like dinosaurs." Asterisk Claire laughed. And not the clipped, rehearsed laugh she gave at fundraisers. This was unfiltered, real, surprising. Even to herself, asterisk by early evening, Caleb straightened up and turned the key. The SUV roared to life, humming with newfound energy. Asterisk, she run. I replaced the belt, flushed your radiator, and gave her some fresh coolant. You'll want to keep an eye on the temperature gauge next few days. Asterisk Claire looked stunned. You did all that today? Asterisk, most folks don't have time to wait around here, he said, wiping his hands. We fix things fast. Or we lose. The story. She reached into her purse and pulled out her black card. He took one look and shook his head. Cash only, or you can owe me a root beer. Asterisk Claire stared. You're turning down this card? Asterisk he nodded. Ma'am, we don't fix cars for clout, we fix 'em 'cause people need to get somewhere. Asterisk, she exhaled, something heavy and invisible lifting from her shoulders. Do you know who I am? Asterisk, not really, he said. But I figure you're someone who's usually too busy to be stuck in a place like this. Asterisk, she smiled. You're not wrong. Asterisk Claire got back into her SUV, started it, and sat there a moment longer than she needed to. Then, instead of turning back toward the retreat, she drove in the opposite direction. Found a local diner, ate fried okra and pecan pie. Watched old men argue about baseball. As she thought about Rosie, about Caleb, about how silence, patience, and humility felt more powerful than any executive meeting. Asterisk the next morning, she came back. In jeans and sneakers this time. Asterisk, you break it again already? Caleb asked. Asterisk, no, she said. I just wanted to watch someone build instead of break. Asterisk for the next 3 days, she shadowed him, asked questions, took notes. Taught Rosie how to write her first lines of code. Listened more than she talked. Asterisk before she left, she handed Caleb an envelope. Inside wasn't money, but a plan, a full proposal. Asterisk 3 months later, Donnelly Motors opened its doors, a non-profit initiative teaching underserved kids mechanical repair and basic coding. The first training center, Caleb's garage. The honorary student president, Rosie, who gave a speech that made 3 grown investors cry. Asterisk 2 years later, Claire Donnelly walked onto the stage at a National Innovation Summit with grease under her fingernails and Caleb by her side. Reporters still asked her about that. First day. Asterisk, is it true? One asked. You told him, if you fix this engine, I'll marry you? Asterisk Claire smiled. Yes, I said it. And you know what? He fixed the engine. But more than that, he reminded me I still had one. Asterisk, and sometimes, when people ask how 2 completely different worlds collided and built something so beautiful, Claire just says, asterisk, engines and hearts aren't that different. You don't need to be flashy. You just need someone who listens, understands the noise, and is willing to get their hands dirty to fix it.